Hello, everyone, and welcome to ACEDS Live at ILTA. This is a series of interviews we are doing on LinkedIn Live with leaders in e-discovery and legal technology. Today, we are joined by my friend Ian Campbell, President and CEO of iCONECT. Ian, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to see you, Mike. Nice to say hello to everybody online.
Yeah. So, how you been holding up in these unusual times?
It's been interesting times, that's for sure. I actually left the office on St. Patrick's Day, so the 17th of March, and maybe I've been back twice since then, but that's about it. We kind of shut everything down. Everybody went back. About a third of our people are back now. I think so from a work perspective. We're kind of dribbling back in a little bit. We can talk about sort of what it's like in my neck of the woods. It's probably a little bit different than where you guys are. From a personal perspective, doing great. The family a few people of the family who had left moved back in again. But simply because they were out on their own and felt that it would be better to be in a more active environment. And that's actually worked out great. I mean, I think the interesting thing is that we have dinner together every night and do backyard barbecues. And I think for everybody maybe who's listening right now, it has put a little bit of a focus, a little bit of a spotlight back on what's important. And so I think from that perspective, it's I guess that's the silver lining in what's going on all around us.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. It's just me and the wife held up here at home, and well, we've gotten to know each other better. So I guess there's that.
And you're still here.
Yeah, no, she still likes me, although she does not like my haircut. I have not had a haircut since March.
Got it.
Yeah, that was the last time I was essentially out. Was March 11th. I was out in Arizona, and I flew home and really have not left the house since. So there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned it. You're in Canada. Do you sense anything different between the U.S. and Canada during these odd times? How are things there? What's been the impact on iCONECT?
Yeah, I think it's kind of twofold. I think that the border's closed. I think most of your viewers probably know that we can't get to you, you can't get to us. Although we did find out recently you can actually fly to the U.S. and fly back from the U.S. You just can't drive there over the border. So, and when you come back, there's 2 weeks of quarantine that you have to kind of stay home, and they are auditing people to make sure they are staying home. It's kind of interesting. I think the one distinct difference is that first of all we're a little more compliant with government input. There's a federal mandate in and around testing and screening and phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it's just simple. It's national, and everybody kind of went, oh, okay, and we're moving forward. And there hasn't been the same level of pushback. And in turn, I think in Canada yesterday there were 400 cases out of 33 million people. In Florida, who's got 22 million people, there was, 3,000-4,000. So,
Yeah.
You guys are kind of a 10x on us right now. And hopefully, as we all look over the horizon, things get better. And I think the one struggle we all have is when is that going to be? And, I think from that perspective, we all wait. But the one thing I'll say on the iCONECT front, we've been very busy. We have found that a lot of our clients and prospects are spending their time doing a little bit of self-reflection, doing a little bit of strategic thinking, wondering where they're going to be with e-discovery in 3 to 5 years. They're reviewing their current tools and platforms. They're reviewing what some of the strategies of their current partners are. Sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're not, and those who are not are making a phone call. And we've been very busy. We've probably done more demos in the past 3 months than we have in the past 3 years. It's really quite interesting from that perspective, and that's led to us closing deals. So I think overall we've been very busy. We launched our V10 at exactly the same time as we all went home, and so we spent a lot of time evangelizing that build, making sure our current clients knew what it could do, making sure our prospects knew what it could do, and the feedback on that has been terrific. So I think from a company perspective, we've been very, very pleased.
Yeah, I wrote about it a couple of months back. I wrote a piece for Above the Law, as you might recall.
Yep.
I wrote a little bit about the version 10 features. Tell us a little bit about. Tell us about oversight. What is oversight?
Well, oversight's an interesting one. It's actually the foundational technology behind oversight actually comes out of a company in Cincinnati who make the underlying technology for fraud detection for MasterCard. So when you all of a sudden get that phone call in the middle of the afternoon with a, hey, somebody tried to buy a giraffe with your credit card in
Happened to me
Johannesburg.
last week, by the way.
Yeah, at 3 a.m. in the morning. I mean, there's probably about 4 or 5 reasons why you'd like to think some algorithm somewhere went, wait a minute, that's not normal. That's not part of Mike's regular buying pattern. And therefore it flags it, gives you the phone call. Of course, it always happens when you're traveling and they phone your house and go, hi, we're calling you because we want to know whether you're traveling. And it's sort of, well, how am I supposed to return my call when I'm traveling? But anyway, that's beside the point. But the underlying technology has been applied to e-discovery. And Mike Fedorowski, who does a lot of our demo work, he's got this funky little database of animals. And imagine, if you will, you're a reviewer and you're going along and going, okay, a dog, that's a land animal, and a cat, that's a land animal, and a fish, that's a sea animal. And then he's not paying attention, and he goes and sees a bird and says, well, that's a land animal. And then he goes and gets a tiger and says, oh, that's an air animal. That's a flying animal. Those are clearly mistakes. So he does mistakes on purpose. And then he goes back in as a supervisor using the oversight. And what is sitting in a folder for him? Those 2 documents that were miscoded. And not only that, but our system goes, hey, you marked that as a flight animal, but it's actually, we're 93% sure it's a land animal. And you can override it. There's no guarantee that the robot is correct, but it's a really great prompt. And so what we're finding is that people are using it as a way to eliminate QC. I mean, they can literally go every day and have a look to see if maybe there's a specific issue.
I was going to say, it reminded me of the ILTA session we did on Wednesday on QC.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ability for a system like that Visa, the MasterCard example, to be able to go, wait a minute, that coding is outside the guardrails here,
Right.
you know, and be able to bring that and percolate that up in charts and graphs, so you can easily focus in on maybe training that needs to happen, maybe one of the attorneys who doesn't understand a specific issue, and be able to solve those problems really, really quick and not have to wait for a 15-day QA cycle. So it's a great way to apply AI in a situation where you're doing a manual review. And I think that's where it's really, really quite unique in the market.
Okay. What about Cover? This is some kind of automated redaction tool. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so we have the ability to, on ingestion of data, you can have do a filter for PII, look for Visa cards and phone numbers and license plate numbers and driver's licenses. Yeah, across 51 countries. So if you're specifically looking for Romanian driver's license numbers, our software can find that for you. And we go and take those documents, give you a list of them in a research report, but we'll also go and take them and put them in a folder. And then from that folder, you can decide whether to exclude them, include them, whatever you want to do with them. It can also be a series of keywords. So it may be a series of priv terms or proprietary information that you want to know if any of these documents contain any of that information. So that's sort of phase 1 of Cover. Part 2 is that now when I go to produce, I might want to redact some of that information.
Right.
So you start to think about DSAR and FOIA requests and any situation where you're disclosing information, but maybe it contains private information that shouldn't or can't be disclosed. And so literally it's built right into the platform. You literally go mass action redact, put in you go and select a UK PII, hit go, and all of a sudden anything that's a piece of UK PII is redacted from those documents. And nicely, it's held as a redaction layer, so we're not affecting the original document, which means that anybody who's now looking to produce can decide to produce with or without those redactions. And it can be blended with manual redactions done by the attorney team. So it's a really solid piece of tech.
Good stuff, man. So I understand, if I've got this right, you brought in some new technology to help with your TAR workflow. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a technology called Sendio. Some of your viewers may be familiar with that tech, and it's a pure cow. This is imagine a workflow where you could go to an attorney and say, "Look, I don't really want keywords from you. Cut and paste something out of the complaint. Anecdotally, make me up a couple of paragraphs of what you think happened."
Yeah.
And we go and take that. We go and create a virtual document. We find similar with a 80 to 90% match. That becomes your seed set. So all you've done to an attorney is gone and said, give me an idea what you're looking for here. Now we can do that across up to 20 issues at the same time. So
Right.
you could say, and we actually worked very closely on the BP oil spill, not with this technology, but something similar, where they created what we call exemplars, and they created 20 exemplar documents on the plaintiff side. So when they were overburdened on productions, they were able to go back in and go, great, let's go find ones that look like this. Let's go find ones that look like this. And we were able to percolate those up. In this scenario, we percolate up document after document saying, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? And we don't do it in rounds. It's done automatically. So you don't have to wait 20 hours or 20 seconds for another round of documents to go through. This is done on the fly, sub-second response. We start throwing documents at an expert or an attorney. And once you get to that threshold you're happy with, at 93, 95, whatever you're looking for, you literally hit the apply to all, whoosh, it goes all the way through. And again, that can be across 20 issues at the same time. So it's very, very solid tech. The people we show it to have seen nothing like it from a speed perspective. And we're getting some fantastic response in market.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've been a fan for years, and just, I mean, tar in general. Look, I don't know why more people aren't using it. Just the efficiencies and the cost savings alone are incredible. So
Yeah, agreed.
that.
Agreed.
All right. So what's next? What's coming next? What's new and different? What shop secrets can you share with us?
Well, the two interesting ones, actually announcements we did in the last couple of days. We were approached by the University of Richmond. Their Rotunda area became a bit of a flashpoint in some of the protests that happened a couple of weeks ago. And they have the statue of General Robert E. Lee in their Rotunda. So you can imagine that stirred up a lot of controversy. And on both sides of the fence, there were, inappropriate conduct. And so they have a lot of video, hundreds and hundreds of hours of video, and they approached us to see if they could participate in our pro bono program. We actually have some very unique video analysis technology, the ability to pause a video, make a comment on the pause, be able to clip the video, and then use the sub clip as a piece of evidence. So they've actually they are in the process of going through hundreds of hours of video and literally pausing it and dictating inappropriate conduct by whomever has done that. And ultimately, where they're hoping to land is the ability to take people who can't defend themselves and give them a legal voice. And so we're very proud to be involved in that project. It's a great way for us to showcase our video capabilities, and also to hopefully do that for the greater good. The other one that actually hit the market yesterday was our FedRAMP announcement. We've been working on this. We've been working on it. Yeah, thank you. We've been working on this for about 2 years with Innovative Discovery out of Washington.
Yeah.
Great group, and they already have another tool in their FedRAMP cloud. They wanted to have a second tool in their FedRAMP cloud, so they approached us. It is a massive undertaking for them and for us. It's kind of 4 components. It's staffing validation, it's tons and tons of documentation, it's the physical infrastructure, and it's the software components. We were primarily involved on the software side, where it went through security audit after security audit, hack tests, all kinds of different things to make sure that they were comfortable it was going to do what we said it would do. And so that launched yesterday, which means that US government organizations who are looking to have their information stored in a FedRAMP cloud can now do that in an iCONECT platform through Innovative. And then the byproduct of all the stuff that we did is that all of the security augmentation we did and enhancements that we did have now trickled down into our standard platform. So not only is the FedRAMP version, touch wood here, very secure, the standard iCONECT version has through that process has also been enhanced. So we're very, very happy with how this turned out, and looking forward to big things ahead.
Yeah, I could only imagine that would trickle down throughout the product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's talk about something a little bit more serious. Tell us something, Ian, that you are concerned about that nobody else is thinking about.
I'm concerned. I'm going to rephrase that to interested in.
Okay.
I think the immutability of data is going to continue to be a big deal. For someone to be able to say, wait a minute, we've been doing chain of custody for years. And there's all these audit logs, and we always get asked how much stuff we're logging in the background. I think you're going to start to see that word nobody wants to talk about, cryptocurrency and blockchain,
Yeah.
become bigger and bigger in the legal industry. I mean, if you think about cryptocurrency, that's kind of off to the side, but the underlying architecture of that being blockchain is nothing more than logs. I mean, if you do some research on blockchain, it's nothing more than blocks of logs, joined together to make a chain. And you can't remove any of the logs because it corrupts the entire thing, and everybody knows it's there. So
Right.
I think I think that's something that we're going to see more and more of. We've already started to dabble in that, in and around how to log. Because if you think about the e-discovery process, I don't need to log every bit of every record, every piece of text, but I might want to know who uploaded it. I might want to know who downloaded it. I might want to know who checked it as confidential, and more importantly, who unchecked it as confidential. And we do store all that information in some encrypted logs currently, but I can see blockchain logging starting to be something people start to ask for in RFPs, and something that's important.
I've been saying it for years.
Yep.
Think about it. E-discovery, document productions, blockchain.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
And
And I think,
anyone
and then
anyone wants to steal my idea, feel free. I don't have any development staff.
on the other side, though, on the personal side, and I'll evangelize for a second. Some of your viewers may, or if they've got kids, they might have been tuned in a couple of weeks ago when Travis Scott, the rapper, launched his new album. He launched it inside a video game. And very interesting. There was a level inside Fortnite. Fortnite has 250 million users worldwide, and there was a level there that you could level up, and you could go watch his concert. Travis Scott was in one of the dotted suits in a green room, and he was doing his dance and singing his music. But inside the video game, he was a video game character. And what you could do is you could go on stage, you could walk around them, you could fly up in the clouds and look down on the stage. It was incredible, incredible. And I think what you're going to start to see from a multimedia perspective is some really interesting stuff. The combination of gaming, the combination of movies and miniseries like a Netflix, and the combination of music. And I think
and VR, virtual reality.
Absolutely. And you start to you look at movies like Ready Player One. If any of your people listening today, the movie's one thing, but read the book. The book is incredible and really kind of makes you go, wait a minute, that's actually starting to happen. And very, very interesting stuff. So I think on the work level, blockchain and e-discovery, I think you're 100% right. And on the personal level, being a media guy, that's really interesting to me, and it's really fun stuff.
All right, look, let's shift gears. Let's have a little fun. Enough talking shop. So a lot of people don't know. I happen to know. I've known you for a while. You have a stake in a professional sports franchise. Absolutely nothing to do with legal technology.
I do. That would be FC
Tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, so a little bit about that. We have 22 teams in our club. I started the club in 2009. I bought a franchise out of Tampa, Florida. And 4 years later, grab the trophy here. We were North American champions. So we beat out 72 teams across North America, including, in the semifinal, we actually beat out the Seattle Sounders reserve team. And again, pretty high level. You think of it as sort of a tier 3 soccer. So you got MLS, you got USL Pro, and then you've got PDL. So that's sort of the level that we play at. We switched gears in 2014. We moved into a Canadian league. And now the advantage of that is that we now have a men's division and we have a women's division. Our men have continued to kind of make it to the final every year, but haven't quite gotten there. Our women, on the other hand, are regarded as one of the top teams in Canada. We've actually won the championship 3 years out of the last 5.
That's awesome.
And then in below that, we then go all the way from U18 all the way down to U8. So these are 8-year-olds all the way through to 18-year-olds. We've got over 300 kids in the program, and 22 odd coaches involved, and they're all national level, UEFA B, UEFA A coach level. So it's really fun stuff. A few kind of flagship things we've done recently. We just built a multi-million-dollar soccer training center. It's a turf field with lights. And so we're on that for well over 1,000 hours a year, and doing training. And then we recently did an affiliation with MLS club Toronto FC, who were the MLS champions in 2017. So our academy program is now actually called London TFC Academy. And so we are continuing to promote sport and activities for young people, and ultimately helping them aspire to their goals, be it college or professional. We've had a lot of players go to college through our program on full ride scholarships, and then in turn make their way into the professional ranks. So we've it's a lot of fun. We got a great group of people that we work with. So
Incredible. Remaking Canadian football.
yeah,
Love
you
it.
got it.
All right. So on the other end of the entertainment spectrum,
Sure.
I understand, again, we've known each other for a while. I understand you're working with some folks in Hollywood on a little special project. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you some of it. I'm under NDA on a couple of things, but I was involved as an executive producer on a movie called Gridlocked. And for anybody out there who wants to check it out, it's on Netflix. It as Danny Glover is in it from Lethal Weapon, and Dominic Purcell, who was Lincoln Burrows on Prison Break. So I was involved in that project. Went to the red carpet event and kind of got the Hollywood bug. And one of the things that we're seeing, of course, now is there's so much content. We're
Right.
seeing content on everything from Disney Plus to Netflix to what have you, which means there's a
Quibi.
real, yeah, Quibi. Yeah, that's right.
I don't even know what that is. Quibi.
Yeah, who knew? I saw it yesterday. I think one of the challenges is content, and so I started writing. I've always been writing some of the information for iCONECT, the press releases and the business writing. But I found that I'm pretty good, like the software where I do a lot of the development work. I'm pretty good at connecting the dots. That when something happens 10 minutes in, we connect with that. 30 minutes in, we connect with that. That's the big part of the finale. And I kind of taught myself how to write screenplays. And so I'm right now on my third screenplay. My sort of flagship one that you and I have talked about that I can't say too much about today is right here. It's an absolute monster. 125 pages, and we'll be right up there with Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man with regard to popularity. It's a band-based movie. I've met with the band, met with some people over in the UK, and it's nudging forward. These projects take a long time. The Rocket Man movie took 10 years, so I'm 3 years into that project. I've also got a romance one that I've written, which is based on a novel written by a Canadian writer, and then the third one is actually one that's a little bit of a passion project for me. My father, before he passed away, was a soccer historian, and he had gone and written a little pamphlet, really, a couple of articles about a soccer team at Edinburgh in 1895. And they were kind of a backwoods team who actually made their way to effectively win the Scottish Cup. So that's kind of the equivalent of an absolute nothing basketball team all of a sudden winning the NBA championships.
Right.
It's a big deal. And so that was in 1895. So I mashed that up a little bit with a Peaky Blinders kind of backstory where Uncle Frank is betting on football and trying to sabotage every game, and the team triumphs. But that's a fun one. I went to Edinburgh when I could travel last October, and toured a lot of the areas that I'd gone and written about, which was really amazing because I had in my head, having written it, you have to kind of see it in your head and then you write it. And it was so funny that there was a few areas where I literally walked down some pathways and things, and it was exactly what I had imagined in my head. You get goosebumps when you're actually doing it. So it's been a lot of fun, and I spend a lot of time in airports and hotels, and it's a great way to pass some time, stay focused, and stay creative.
You are one of the most creative people I know, Ian. So kudos to you. All right, let's shift gears here again. We do a little fun thing called 4 of this or that.
Okay.
We're going to ask you to identify which of two things is your preference here. Number 1, is technology-assisted review AI or machine learning?
AI.
Good answer. Good answer. There's a debate, so we just figured we'd throw ourselves in the mix. I mean,
oh God, I hope Craig Ball's not listening.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, number 2, hyphen or no hyphen in e-discovery? Big controversy.
Oh, none. No, absolutely not. No
hyphen at all. Okay.
Lowercase e, capital D, all one word.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Fair enough. Grammatically incorrect, I'll say, but
Yeah, that's okay.
that's fine. All right, it's kind of yesterday we had Thirsty Thursday. Today is Freaky Friday. What's your preference, red or white wine?
Oh, Chardonnay. There's a wine called Butternut that comes out of Sonoma Valley, and absolutely to die for. If I can't get that, it's probably a La Crema or a J. Lore.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, last one, number 4. Beatles or Stones, my friend?
Oh, Beatles, 100%. I'm just not a big Stones fan.
Oh my
No,
God,
sorry.
Stones. You
And,
just
and, and
lost
to
every
be honest,
Stones fan.
yeah, and both of them are kind of before my time. So there you go. But I will say I did watch the movie Yesterday recently, and
Okay.
it was really fun. It was about a guy who there's sort of a lightning storm, and everybody in the world forgets who the Beatles are
I
except for
watched
him.
it. I thought it
Yeah,
was great.
it was fun. It was a really fun movie, and I really enjoyed Robert Carlyle as John Lennon. I thought that was a really well done scene.
Yeah,
So yeah, lots of
I
fun.
thought it was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
All right, give us a good book you read lately.
I actually grabbed it right here. I'm kind of halfway through it. It's Jim Carrey's new book, and yeah, everybody can read what that's called. I think it's Memoirs and Misinformation. It's a little bit of an autobiography, but it's a little bit of fiction. So he names names, but he also kind of makes stuff up. I'm 50-50 on it, to be honest with you, but I want to get through it. He's actually one of the actors we're looking at for one of the movies I'm involved in. So I wanted to read his book. So if we have a conversation, I can talk about the fact that I read his book. But yeah, it's pretty good. It starts out, the foreword sort of talks about where he was when he came up with the idea of, I think I need to write a book, and here's what I'm going to write a book about. And
Yeah.
then he actually does it. So it's the old standard presentation technique of tell him what you're going to tell him, and then I'm sure the conclusion is going to be tell him what you told him.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it'll be
No, that's the
yeah,
old presentation thing.
that's
All
right.
right. Well, awesome. Listen, let us know when you're filming in New York. We'll come to set. We'll buy you a drink.
Love it. Love
All
it.
right, folks. There you have it. Thank you, Ian, for joining us today and sharing your insights. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on LinkedIn. Please visit iCONECT.com to learn more about iCONECT's vision for e-discovery. And please check us out at aceds.org. And visit our virtual booth. Last day of ILTA today. We've got a Zoom room up and running on the ILTA On Solution Center. Ian, thanks so much.
Good. Thank you, and don't forget to go to fclondon.ca and check us out on the soccer field.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.